Hello, everybody. Well, welcome. We're so glad you could spend this time with us. Connie and I are so glad to see so many familiar faces, many hearts out to you all. Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about the program. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
And we're also here on a really momentous occasion because it's the writing program's 40th anniversary. So woo! Some of us never thought we'd make it this far.
We did it.
We did it. So we also, it really is a celebration. And Vcfa, I think we've always just been, we do the hard work, we love each other, and we just keep going. But this is truly a day to celebrate. 40 years, we're the oldest MFA low-residency program in the country. I was teasing Donald earlier. I'm like, on the planet. But we are also the most innovative. And we have been changing our curriculum up and adding all sorts of new things for our students and our alumnus. And we wanted to tell you about some of those. We have new study options. And so we have, of course, the regular study option where you can study one genre very deeply. We have the study option where you do 5 semesters and you do dual genre, but then we have all these cool new ones. So for instance, you can study the intersection of various genres. So you can do a semester in poetry, then you can do a semester in fiction. You can keep doing that, or you could actually study several genres. And when I talk about genres, I also mean literary translation, because we're doing a lot of literary translation these days. We have a cross-disciplinary option where you can study, like say you are a fiction writer and you've got this short story and you think, wow, I'd really like to make this into a screenplay. So you can study with someone in film to figure out how to turn it into a screenplay. We have cross-disciplinary study that goes beyond that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And we also have the Vcfa International Center for Literary Translation. So we are the only low residency program in the country that offers an MFA in literary translation, but we also offer a certificate in literary translation for our alumnus. And it's a really cool thing. We're offering a lot of different things for alumnus now. So we're trying to get the word out about that. We will soon be offering a publishing certificate, and we're in the process of creating that program. It's very exciting. I've been working with Geronimo Johnson to create that curriculum, and that is also something that's available to our alumnus. We have post-grad study in many different disciplines. So for instance, if you say, you know, like maybe we have a lot of musicians in our program, and you can say, okay, I'm an MFA graduate from Vcfa. I'd like to do a semester in music comp. You can do that now. So we've really just kind of torn down the walls and are saying, let's explore, let's see what we can do. And so for folks who want to do that, we're very, very much into creating individualized study for the students who want to go down that path. So we're very, very excited about this. We dipped our toes into those waters last semester and it's going really well. So, and Donald just being brand new, like, yeah. Surprise. Yeah. And the other thing that we're doing is we've changed up the residency so that that's much more like an exploratory creative lab. I mean, we still have workshops and everything, but most of our workshops are exploratory, where people are doing generative work and are across genre work. So we're really just saying we're going to step into the 21st century and look at hybridization and experimentation. But if your vibe is to study one thing, that's cool too. So yay, for 40 years, we're breaking down the walls.
I love it. It's very cool for me to like come into this role at this time, like of all this growth and this development, because these are a lot of things that I'm a little bit jealous. I kind of wish like these were available when I was a student, but I think it's what the program's trying to do right now is better reflect what the writing life is. When I was a young kid and I said I wanted to be a writer, I just said I wanted to be a writer. I didn't say I wanted to be specifically one type of writer. And I believe like form follows function. And so if that's the case. Sometimes you have to write a poem. Sometimes you have to write a screenplay. Sometimes you have to find the medium that's best for the work and the message you're trying to convey. And I just love that VCFA is at this place now where increasingly students will be able to find the best medium for their voice. And so it's just really cool to be here now in this role at this time. I'm pretty psyched about it. I'm geeking. It's cool.
And speaking of being in this role at this time, Donald and I came into these roles at the same time in July, and we have become really deep, deep friends. It is a complete joy to work with you, Donald.
Love you,
And,
Connie.
and I just want to, I mean, I was teaching when you were a student, but you were never my student.
I'm sorry. I truly, maybe I'll come back as a PG.
Cool.
We can get
Okay.
that done.
But I always so admired you, and now even more so. And you have had such an amazing journey from student to a graduate assistant, and now you are program director. And we are so thrilled that you are in this role and you are bringing so much to it. But can you tell me a little bit about what that journey has been like for you?
It's been pretty awesome to watch. When I came to VCFA as a student, it was like in the first day or so, I found people that I've been looking for my whole life. Like I found my people. Like there were folks in my life that loved and supported me, but they didn't get me in a way that the people at VCFA did. And so I kept trying to find ways to come back after I graduated. So I think I was a grad assistant 10 times or something. Like I just kept trying to get back, finding ways to come to a place that I kind of consider home. And so when this position opened up, I really thought I might be able to contribute like visions I had for the program, contribute like my love for this place. I understood the culture, and I just wanted to help push VCFA into an even better place, like to contribute to this community the way that it's contributed to me. It feels deeply satisfying to do this work. And Connie, how long have you been with VCFA actually?
I came to VCFA in 2010, and I came on to VCFA shores pretty beat up. A lot had happened, including I felt like a environmental refugee. My beloved place at Alligator Point was inundated with oil, and I had to leave it. And I had always, I taught in another low residency program, and they always talked about VCFA, and they looked up to VCFA, and they were jealous of VCFA. And I'm like, I need a new start. And if I'm going to do this, I need to be someplace that I completely respect and whose reputation is one of vigor, but frankly, also community. And so I remain, I think, the only faculty member hired that no one else on the faculty knew, which is kind of a wonderful distinction, I think. And I just immediately, like, it's like you, Donald, like I found family, and it was exactly the family I needed at the right time.
Right.
And that feeling has only grown. And it has been also, I mean, I've been in this new position for a very short time, but it has so deepened my appreciation for who we are. I mean, our students, our alumni, and our faculty. It's just really an honor, and it's just, I'm having a blast. And I'm so excited to be here working with you at this time when all these wonderful things are happening. We are in a very difficult time in this world, and VCFA is like a safe place in this storm. And it's where we do our art, it's where we do our work, and it's where we will always have community.
I love it. Speaking of community, we have guests with us today. Very excited to introduce President Leslie Ward, who's graciously come to chat with us. How are you, Leslie?
I'm fine. Wonderful to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, so glad to have you. So one of the things we wanted to do is kind of just check in with you, and you have a very cool experience and relationship to VCFA. It's really interesting. You were a student in the MFA and writing program, actually. I just want to know if you could talk about your experience here a little bit. Yeah.
Sure. So much of what you and Connie just said resonated, I think, for me and probably for most of our students. I came and was immediately incredibly impressed by that combination of community support and rigor. And I think that it was, I had been another graduate. I'd been in another graduate program that was very, rigorous, but not as much community. And I think when you are endeavoring to enhance and grow your creative spirit, you are making a choice, whether it's intentional or not, to be vulnerable. When you learn business, my other MBA, my other master's degree, it's you're learning concepts. It's not personal. But when you're coming to enhance your creative space, your spirit, it's very personal. And so you are walking into a place incredibly vulnerable, and that vulnerability is an opportunity to grow. Without that, you can't grow, but it also puts you at risk because you're showing your inner self, that you're coming from your heart and your head. And I think what was so amazing and wonderful about VCFA is that the faculty met you as a colleague. Your cohort, all the other students met you as somebody serious. And also you could make mistakes, and so it put you in a place where you could receive feedback about something that you cared about so deeply, and you could hear it. And then you could move ahead and experiment even more. And I know there were moments where I just felt like I was so out there exposing myself with people I thought who were just so much better at writing than I was. And yet I felt really supported, and it allowed me to take risks and to grow. And that out of that, of course, comes this amazing sense of community, because when you're putting yourself out there in such an authentic way and then received with such generosity, then that's what creates those bonds of community. So I was kind of blown away by the whole thing. It was an amazing, amazing experience.
I love that you spoke to that authenticity of self, because that's truly like what it feels like. And like, just curious how this kind of helped you in moving into your role as president of VCFA.
Yeah. So I'll go back to what I learned at my MBA program, which is you should never take on a leadership role at any level in an organization unless you really, really understand the product. And at an institution, to have been a student was, I think, so important. Not that you couldn't learn it. So there will be somebody after me who may not be a student, and they will be able to do just fine. But I was able to short circuit that learning curve and to really come understanding the brilliance of our faculty, what it meant as a student to have this low residency program, the flexibility it offered, the enrichment it offered. What was a surprise to me, because I didn't have a lot of interaction with staff, except my program staff, who I loved and respected, but to see all the amazing people who work so hard to do IT and to keep the facilities up, to help create tuition assistance opportunities and scholarships. That was a big aha for me. And again, amazing to realize that all these people were behind my experience as well. Was just incredible. So I think it really did help, because it made me cherish what makes VCFA so special. And when you are part of an organization is an organic creature, it must grow or it will die. We're always different. We're always moving. We're always in motion, learning new things, reacting to new situations. And yet, to do that successfully, you have to know what is your core. What are your core values? What makes the institution unique and beautiful and strong? And what is its foundation? And I think being a student really allowed me to bring that very quickly or immediately into the job.
The core of Vcfa. It's interesting because I think over the 40 years, if anything, I think that core has been able to remain strong, and I think that is the success of it. I think that's the reason why we're still here and why it'll be here after after we're gone, I believe. And kind of thinking towards that future, what makes you hopeful for VCFA's future, and how do you see the MFA and writing program fulfilling some of those hopes?
So it's a great question. And I'll start with, again, the people who make up the community. You can have the best idea in the world or the best product, but if you don't have the right people, you'll never reach your full potential. So the very first thing that makes me incredibly hopeful about this organization is this wonderful institution is our community. And by that, I mean everyone, our incredible faculty. And one of the things I didn't share about becoming in this role as president was, as a writing student, I knew the writing program. I kind of didn't really know what else existed. And then coming in, as I have today, I realized, oh my goodness, there's all these other beautiful programs that are just as vibrant and alive and serving students in the same heartfelt, thoughtful way. So we have amazing faculty across all our programs. As I said, the staff is phenomenal, and our community, our students and our alumnus are so loyal and care so deeply. So they call us on us when we aren't doing the right things, and they're right there to help us build the future. So I'll start with the people, but then the other thing that makes me so excited is one of the core, I think, attributes of VCFA is innovation. You know, we have that caring, we have the rigor, but we have always been innovative. I mean, this program is the epitome of that. You know, I think it was the first low residency writing program in the country. And that was an amazing concept at the time. And VCFA has continued to bring that innovation into new programs. You know, oh, you can do film that way. You could teach music composition that way. Well, wow, how would we do that? It allowed us to pivot during this pandemic. I've never been more impressed with the teams of faculty and staff who just got together and said, we aren't letting our students down. Let's do this. We can do this. And it opened up new opportunities for us, things like this, which we would have never thought to do before. And then on top of that, our 4 strategic initiatives that we are committed to, we had talked to faculty about, the trustees have been part of that, our staff have been part of it. And I really believe those 4 strategic initiatives are setting us up to continue to be a leader in arts education. We are looking at lifelong partnerships. So we know we are so excited that students come here and have these amazing experiences and grow exponentially. And we know if we really are dedicated to their careers as artists, we need to continue to enrich and nurture and celebrate and create networks for those wonderful alumnus to continue doing their work and growing. We know in our academic realm, we want to continue to draw on the creativity and the enthusiasm and dedication of our faculty and say, yes, what are your new ideas? This is not a stodgy place. We want to hear what is out there in your discipline that you find exciting. How can we bring that in? So we love being that wonderful percolator of new ideas. Our Center for Arts and Social Justice is this wonderful way for us to say, we know art is powerful. And we know that the world needs to continue to change and evolve and grow to be a better place for everybody. And we can play a role in that. And so for our students and our alumnus and people outside of our community who want to work in that section of arts, and social justice. We want to empower you and enrich you by creating fellowships and a network of people and enrichment opportunities to be powerful in that way that the arts can do. And then finally, our commitment to our statement on community values has helped us develop just a wonderful Office of DEI. And we have that statement threaded through everything we do. We are putting equity and empowerment at the center of all of our work and our decisions. We have a long way to go, again, continuously improving as artists do in their own work. But those 4 initiatives make me so hopeful that VCFA will continue to be this wonderful guiding light in art and art education and in the intersection of the arts and the communities that people work in. And the MFA program, just hearing Connie talk about all the new things that are going on in this program is a program that has just taken those 4 initiatives and said, we're going to do this. We are going to continue to be a leader in writing and in arts education. And we're looking out there and saying, what else can we do that's exciting and new to enrich our students? And that spoke for itself. So leadership like yours, faculty like Connie, the strategic initiatives that people are committed to, I am really, really excited to see what's going to happen over the next few years. I think it's going to be pretty spectacular.
So Leslie, I think you know this, but the faculty, we were, to a person, so excited when you said, yes, I'll step forward to be our president. And we are still so excited and we feel so proud of you. And we watched from afar to see what you're doing. But I just sort of on a personal note, when you step into sometimes a virtual office daily and sometimes now your brick and mortar office, what surprises you?
That's a great question. I'm going to think about that for a minute. I will say, as I think about the last 2.5 years, it's been about 2.5 years, what has really, I guess, affirmed and surprised me, not in that it happened, but in the excellence in the way it happened, is the power of partnership and community. At this, the work I do, I don't ever take credit for what happens that's amazing at this institution, because it's the teams of people that pull together to make it happen. I feel like my job is to say yes and get out of the way and let everybody do their amazing work. I think that, so I feel like watching people come together around the passionate dedication to serving our students and to furthering art and its power in communities, just the power of that and the way that this community does that, I think has been just this amazing experience for me and an incredible takeaway. It's what an arts institution should be, because we're about creativity and growth. And yet so often there's a disconnect between what you're trying to teach and what you actually do. And I don't find that here. Like, there's this incredible collaboration and collaborative spirit of growth and innovation and teamwork and understanding how truly the parts are much more than, the whole is so much more than the parts. I will tell you, Connie, it was lovely of you to say that I was well received. I do remember, just a little personal anecdote, coming into my first faculty meeting when I first took this role. I think I had been in the role about a week, maybe about 4 days. And I walked in to meet the writing faculty who were in residence. And it was a little bit of a mind shift to go from these people who were just my gods and goddesses as a student to saying, okay, I'm meeting you in a different space now, and we're going to collaborate together and still nurture each other, but in a different way. So thank you for the warm reception, because I may not have shown it, or maybe I did, but I was a little nervous that day.
Well, we were all with you, and it was a rock star move. So,
Well, I couldn't be happier with the amazing work that this program has done. Watching it grow has been one of my greatest joys. You come in as a student, you have this amazing experience, and to be so close to watching it evolve and grow, bringing in new faculty, thinking about new programs, bringing Donald on as an amazing new program director who also has had the experience of being a student and understands viscerally what it means to put yourself on the line out there and say, I want to grow. Can you help me do this? It's just been one of my greatest pleasures. And I have such deep respect for all the work that everybody's doing here. So I couldn't be happier to be associated with this beautiful place and this beautiful program.
We have more special guests. Leslie, thank you for joining us. Next up, we're gonna chat with an alumnus. And actually, she's gonna be one of our visiting writers at the upcoming winter residency. And I'm very excited to have her here. Liza Nash Taylor.
Hi, Donald. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Liza.
Thanks so much for inviting me to join today. This is so exciting, and I'm feeling the love for sure. I'm so excited about the new initiatives that are in gear. Like right now, I have a children's book out on submission, and I wish I could have studied, hybrid of writing for children. And what a great thing that that's available now. I first came to the program or learned about the program in 2015 when I applied to Connie's novel retreat at Vcfa. And I was a huge fan of Connie's. And as a novice writer, that was a real leap of faith for me to apply. And so, and I was so she's heard me say this before, but I was a huge fan of Connie's work, and I was so starstruck, and I thought she was going to be this sort of best-selling diva persona, but instead she was so approachable and positive and energetic. And she encouraged me to apply to the program. And I'd heard about other MFA programs that were intimidating because like the faculty didn't interact or held themselves sort of above the students, and there was a competitive vibe, and that certainly didn't happen to me at VCFA. So when I decided to commit to pursuing the MFA, I knew I was making an investment in my writing career, and I was already 56 years old, and I thought I'd better get my ass in gear if I was going to do something with it. And I was afraid I'd be the oldest student, but I wasn't. And, making that investment meant that I was giving myself 2 years to work toward a goal and to learn and to give and to grow. And at the beginning, I was afraid my writing skills weren't enough, but they got me started. And my first novel, Etiquette for Runaways, was completed while I was in the program. I was working with the literary agent. And then my second novel was begun while I was in the program. And I don't know how many authors have had 2 books published during a pandemic, but it's a challenge for sure. It's really been not easy. But anyway, I had such a great experience. Now I'm working on my 3rd novel by myself, and I've come to realize how much I really miss that monthly feedback and the accountability and the camaraderie and the residency workshops with my peers. I have done the novel retreat again, post-grad, and it was fantastic. I'm so looking forward to January and to speak at residency. I'm sorry we won't be on campus. I will not miss the frozen window panes and the funky showers and the how should I say it, the disappointing food. but I wish I could be there. I would love to be there. But anyway,
Liza, you know, that's all part of the charm.
of course it is. Of course.
The food's gotten better. Yeah.
Anyway, no, that's not a complaint. That's a fond reminiscence. Anyway, I'm thrilled to see you all and thrilled to help celebrate 40 years of VCFA, and here's to 40 more. Thanks for having me.
Well, Liza, I wanted to say a few things, including, so when Liza showed up at the novel retreat, those many years ago, I had no idea that she had never been to something like that before. And she gave a reading that blew us all away. I did not know that was the first reading she ever gave. So she's quite remarkable in many ways in her own right. But also, Liza is a wonderful example of what happens when you go into a community like VCFA and you have a goal. And her goal was to finish a novel. And she kept her focus on the work. And she not only finished one novel, she started and got pretty far into the second novel and then had them both published. So it's really remarkable. I mean, yes, you know, you were part of this beautiful community, and I know that we helped you with that progress, but so much of it is you, Liza, your commitment, and your journey can be everyone's journey. It's about the commitment and the focus, the work, you know, on the work. And I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
So what do you think about like how, like your experience at VCFA, and now you hear like all these new things we're doing?
Oh, it's mind-blowing. As I said, I wish I could have studied writing for children at the same time, and sort of just dabbled in other waters. And I'm interested to learn more about the new structure of residency, because you know, I think the workshop is a core component of that, and the feedback is just invaluable. But I love that VCFA is evolving and meeting the needs of people in the world as it is today. Yeah, that's really, really exciting.
Fantastic. I'm super stoked and looking forward to your reading this winter. I hope it's like a homecoming for you. And I'm just really kind of in awe of you. And I had the opportunity to publish you at Past 10, and just I've always been a fan of your work and your writing. And thank you for taking this time today with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I remember in January of 2018 giving my graduate reading and graduate lecture in that room, and it was so cold. I was wrapped up in a big shawl, and I remember listening to alumni talking and listening to them do their readings, and wondering what on earth it would be like to stand up there on the other side and be able to share. So I'm hoping to talk, again, TBD, about, for my informal talk, maybe about the publishing process and getting your work noticed in literary magazines, and applying for fellowships and contests and things like that. And we'll see.
Excellent. Lovely. I cannot wait. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
Thank you, Liza.
Yeah.
Well, now we have a very, very, very special guest, because this is a major part of our celebration. We have a beloved faculty member. She's on the poetry faculty, who has been at VCFA since day one. Guess who it is? It's the amazing, beautiful, multi-talented Leslie Ullman. So we're here to celebrate her 40 years with us, and to hear what she has to say about her journey through 40 years at this amazing institution. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this great celebration. We deserve it.
Yes, we do.
I love
And you
that.
deserve
We've
it.
come through a lot.
So Leslie, what was VCFA like in those early days?
Well, I was just talking to Betsy about this morning. Most of us, all of us who started in those days, we were teaching creative writing. We were beginning to teach creative writing there and at other universities when programs were just beginning to proliferate and creative writing was becoming a legitimate major and department. So we were in the beginning of a wave that has now gotten just huge. But when we started, there were not a lot of programs. And our program and Warren Wilson were the only two. And as you know, there's 100 probably just low residency. Anyway, we all grew up together. We were all either young Turks or trying to act like young Turks. It was a little bit like being in junior high school with a bunch of very bright people. And some of us either misbehaved badly or witnessed it. We all wanted to be cool. We all tried very hard. We were all products of traditional creative writing programs, where you go to workshops and you just suck it up and have them beat you up. And we all thought that's what you do. That's how you pay your dues. But we all cared. We all wanted to be teachers. Most of us were teaching in 2 places at once. I have loved seeing all the changes that have taken place. But before I get to that, I want to say that probably when I've said to new students, I can't imagine what my life would be without this program. I think maybe my closest friendships have come out of it, not just with faculty, but also with many, many students. I also am so grateful that this program has pushed me to do things that I never would have done without the inspiration and the pressure to be good, like write lectures, write poems, take chances. If I was asking my students to take chances, I needed to do it too. And I am just so grateful that I had to do all of this. If I had just taught at my university, I think my universe would have been extremely much smaller than it is now. What I'm really excited about, and as I've really seen these changes, I've watched us change the way we teach workshops. I feel like I and my colleagues were trying to work more humanely and more sensitively and more realistically with our creative writing students before other people were. Because when you have 4 to 6 new students, they're all different every semester. You don't go on autopilot. You glom onto the totality of each person, which is what I love about teaching. And when you do that over and over again, you become a different kind of teacher. You become a people person. You become a coach. You're willing to share some of your own vulnerability. I mean, it's more of a total interaction. I've loved that about our program, and I think we were doing it long before people started writing about that may be a better way to teach. What else was I going to say? I had one more thing. Oh, I know. I have watched us become more interdisciplinary and more open to hybrid and more open to writing that some of us don't necessarily do. And I've loved that we do this. I've loved some of my most difficult students have been the ones who were writing things I didn't understand, but they really believed in what they were doing. And some of my best discussions and some of my hardest, most rewarding work came from dealing with people who were doing things that were in a fashion different from mine and maybe ahead of me. So I love that we do that. I think we're still pushing forward. Our hybrid workshops using art, the fact that many of our workshops now we're dealing, Betsy and I are outnumbered by creative nonfiction people in the workshop we're teaching this winter. I love that. They love that. So we're continuing to open the stops and all these special workshops and the amazing readers we've had. We're just opening that fan, and I'm so glad that it's working, because I think for a long time there was a period in there where we couldn't quite make it happen. We were trying, we couldn't quite get there, and I think we kept on going, and we got some help, and we made some different strategy decisions to get the kind of faculty we wanted. And I'm really proud of how we've been able to do that.
Leslie, I think that one of the amazing things about our program, and it's what you touched upon, is that one-on-one aspect. And I know that my students, and I've only been here since 2010, but my students have changed my life. And I learn from my students every day and every packet. And that dialogue that I have with the students throughout the semester, packet to packet, is so important, and it's so personal. And I went through a traditional program. I didn't get that kind of attention, but I just see how I've grown as a human being and a writer through that process. So I mean, 40 years of that kind of interaction must be just, I don't know, a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just stretched me. I feel like I'm all rubber bands. And I love that feeling, because over that many years, I mean, in the beginning, you're terrified, like, oh, I've got these new students. Can I do it? And after enough time, you say, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I've got the moves. I know that I'll know what to do when the time is right. And you learn to trust that. That's where longevity comes in. And that's where the rubber bands are. It's just like, you know, they're there, and you can stretch the ones you need, and you can tighten the ones you don't need. And, you know, it's not, I'm not saying this by way of saying, oh, I'm a great teacher, but what I'm saying is I just feel that this is how I feel inside myself from this work.
Well, Leslie, I know that you have touched people for 40 years. That has to be an amazing feeling. You're like a role model. Thank you so much. I can't imagine what it takes to have that kind of longevity. You're just absolutely amazing. So congratulations. We love you. We admire you. You are our heart. And hang on, because we've been joined by 2 more faculty members. And so we're juxtaposing Leslie with Samuel Kolawole, who is one of our newest faculty members, and also Brett Lott, because I thought, well, you know, this is my first semester as a faculty chair, and Brett is a former faculty chair, so he's been through what I'm going through now. And so I thought it would be fun to see what he has to say. So welcome, Brett and Samuel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We did not have a worldwide pandemic when I was the.
So you had it easy.
Yes. Some people got some colds during the winter thing, but that's about it.
So Brett, you've been at Vcfa for quite a while. And I know that some of our changes you've been like wide-eyed at. And we're like, come on. And so how are you feeling about things?
I love it. I mean, I think it's great. I came Leslie and Wojan and Betsy, I mean, they were all before I got here. I got here, I think it was I gave a reading in 94, and then in 95 I started. And, you know, I still feel like a rookie, you know, around them. I really do. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I think it's terrific right now. I really miss residency. I just, you know, I don't know if that's anything people have been talking about, but I miss meeting with people, and that whole community that happens twice a year was something I've always looked forward to, and I've missed it terribly, and trying to, you know, observe it a little bit with this retreat that we're doing. But you know, it's built into my schedule, and I look forward to it, and I still do after all these years, because I love the sense of community, not just with my colleagues, but especially with the students. So
Samuel, you're your first semester teaching for us?
I believe this is going to be my second semester.
You're going into your second semester, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Talk about a newbie. I still consider myself a newbie, but you're ultra newbie. So what has surprised you about about going from student to VCFA advisor, faculty member?
Really? So my journey is quite interesting because before I decided to attend grad school, I'd kind of taught and done stuff before then, before I decided to do something about kind of further my studies and all of that. So I went to South Africa and got an MA in creative writing. When I finished, I decided to come to America. It was an interesting time. Trump was just elected. Interesting things happened. But I remember landing, JFK with, I told you there's $50 in my pockets and 3 traveling bags. And I didn't know what to expect, except that I'd had a Zoom conference with Makaya Baygot, and she was so nice. So I didn't know what to expect. But boy, yeah, it ended up being a life-changing season in my life. Really totally transformed my life in ways that I still can't really grapple with now. I've been able to make friends, that lifelong friendships. I've been able to, I've learned a lot, just being part of this family. And when I say VCFA is my family, I really mean it. And you see, sometimes you fight for your family, sometimes you argue with your family, but family is still family, right? So I can't begin to really explain what VCFA means to me. Before I got to this appointment, I would like to specially appreciate Connie May. She's just an angel, she's been there, even before all this happening, she would run into each other, I would run into her, and she would just encourage me, would talk and all of that. And when I got the appointment, I was really warmly received by the faculty. That's very important. That's very important. The collegiality here is just amazing. They all received me. They all, supported me, and it's really a privilege to be part of this kind of this institution, and to be able to interact and work with wonderful people and professors. But back to students, lecturer thing, student professor thing. I wouldn't call it a surprise, but I think it has a lot to do with, I love teaching. And you see, one of the things that I've realized about my, I've been reflecting on my experience so far, and I discovered that, it's just really wonderful to be able to start with a writer day one and watch that writer's trajectory, like see the writer literally grow. That is the most wonderful thing. And it reminds me of how I was when I came here as a student. I knew a lot of things. I'd been publishing or writing, but there were things I still didn't know. So seeing my growth, by the time I was leaving my MFA program, I was publishing in second tier and literary journals. I was at, gotten another agent. I was on my way to selling my book. See that, to watch that me grow that fast in such a small space of time, and to see students now grow, under my tutelage, and actually I also learned from them a lot. It's quite remarkable, and the MFA in writing program is also special in the sense that it gives you the opportunity for that, to have that one-on-one mentoring, and you can see in a very close way how your student grows, and that is really, really, really remarkable in in my opinion. And it's a privilege to do this, to be doing this. And I hope to continue to do this.
You better
That is-
continue to do
Yes,
it.
Yeah, that is excellent. Like so many of, and all of you have kind of touched on this, but so many of the closest friendships, people that I would consider family, came through this program. Sam, like I think of you almost like a brother, and like I wouldn't have met you if not for this program. I kind of wanted to check in with all three of you, Leslie, Brett, and Sam. And you kind of touched on this, but what are your hopes for this program? Like, where do you hope we head to next? Yeah.
Who goes first?
Brett, you do.
Brett, you spoke first.
Shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have done what my students do in my undergrad class and gone like this.
Well, look off.
So I hope for the future, I'm just going to be really frank. I hope we could, it's dumb to say, I know we all hope it, but I hope we all get back together and live, our residencies together and see each other and have, meals together and sit out on the benches out by the fountain together and bundle up down in the basement of the college hall and, have readings and just spend time together. I think it's such a valuable asset. And I know, we're in a situation we can't quite do that. But for the future, I look forward to returning to that past experience that so many of us have lived through. Like, I know that, Donald and Samuel, you guys are fast friends because you spent time initially together, and that's what I'm looking forward to. That's just a very concrete kind of thing, but it means so very much to me to be with people and who are like-minded and love the word, love reading, love writing, and want to talk about it face to face. And that's really the thing I'm looking forward to the most. And I'm looking forward to receiving new students who have new things and new ways to say what it is that they need to say and help them to say it. I mean, that's every semester, it's a cliche, but every semester is a refreshment. It starts over, and you receive these new people and you are there to help. And, the students you work with are there and they move forward. It's always one of the wonderful things as a teacher to see people moving forward and growing and becoming better writers. That's the biggest reward.
I love that you said like-minded, because like even if I can have a different ideology, like a different belief system than someone at VCFA, there's like this base in the belief. And I tell a lot of prospective students this, there's this base in belief that writing can be to the benefit of every human being. That's the baseline. And like having that as a base, like we can have potential arguments or disagreements, but it always comes back to that. And because of that, it creates like a solid community. I love that you said like-minded. Yeah.
And it's as if in the best of ways, we're like this dynamic organism, because as I listen to everybody talk, I keep thinking about how symbiotic all these relationships are. I mean, like the faculty is learning from each other. The faculty is learning from the students. We stay in touch with each other for years and years and years. That affects who we are as human beings, and it affects our art. That bottom line is we're writers, and we're not all writing the same stuff, but we are learning from each other, and we are getting filled up and inspired by each other. I don't care whether you're the president of the college or whether you're just a brand new faculty member or a first semester student. We're all in this wonderful kind of, creative experiment together, learning and growing together amid all that diversity.
Leslie and Sam.
Well, when you talk about the future, I'm thinking that I want to see us continue what we've done so well with. And I love the fact that we're always talking about it. And when new things come up, challenges or just new ideas, we incorporate them. We try to use them. And so I want to applaud the fact that we are so changeable, that we've already demonstrated that. And that the things that are so valuable, like the strength of our community. And one thing I didn't mention was how mutually supportive everyone is in our program. I think that there are some programs where there's more hierarchical behavior and certain kinds of pressures that are not necessarily conducive to cultivating one's craft and one's imagination. I think we do that. So I just say, let's just keep going as we are. And I think the only thing I would love to see changed, and I think it will with time. I don't feel that we're in error, but we're an expensive program. And I have talked to some prospective students who I would have loved to have seen come to our program, and I would have loved to have come to our program, but they just can't afford it when you put in tuition and travel and the difficulties of many people's lives right now. And I trust that we will be able to accommodate more of those people in the future. That's probably the only thing I would want to see happening more of than is happening now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I agree, Leslie. And that's part of why we're here today. It's Friendsgiving Day. And so, but it's just, we are a small school, and I think our size forces us to think in more creative ways to meet what that goal that we have, Leslie. And I think that that's exactly nail on head. Samuel.
Yeah, this might sound very woo-woo-woo, but you see, but I really hope that we continue to graduate students that will make art that's beautiful and enduring. I really do believe that I'm grooming the next great American writer. I really do believe. I don't know who that person is going to be, but I really believe that. I believe that what we are doing is important to not only to this country, but to the world, and I think that is why this program is important. And hopefully, just blowing things up, right? In terms of the people coming in, the people we are graduating, the kind of works that they are creating, they are making, and all of that. So I wish that for this institution.
Absolutely. When I stepped into this role, I stepped into it with 2 goals, and that was to and it might sound woo-woo, but I don't see why we shouldn't dream big. But I am hoping to help VCFA change the face of academia and change the face of publishing. And I will not accept anything less. Yeah, we're gonna do it. So yeah. Well, thank you all. Thank you to Leslie. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Leslie Ward. Thank you, Liza. I think we're coming to the end of our time together. If any of you have questions, you can just put them in the chat, and maybe we can answer a few. Yeah. Or you could just ask.
True.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, just know, if you ever want to reach out, please, you can find my email at the VCFA website. I love chatting with folks, so if you ever just want to talk, please, my door is open. My digital door is open, so reach out. Yeah. And Connie, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming. It was so great to see so many dear, sweet, beloved faces, and to echo what Donald said. I know that some of you are current students, some of you are alumnics, and I suspect you all have ideas for things that we can do and further innovations we can make and things that we can do better. So yeah, my door is always open too, and we always love hearing from you. Please don't be strangers, and we love you guys.
Much love. Take care, everybody. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
So long.
Yeah.